Yo, what's up, guys? Episode 14 of the Loper Show, and I welcome my boy Doobie, man.
Yes, sir. What's up?
Which seems to be all the talk right now, man. Everybody, at least in our friend group, everybody's all eyes are on you, bro.
Hopefully, it's good things.
Yeah, everyone's just really excited about the new record, and I mean, Worth a Shot is out there blowing up. I mean, you know, you got radio play. Are you doing Sirius XM yet?
Yeah, we're in full rotation at Octane as well.
Yeah. Jose's a good guy, man.
Oh man, they've been phenomenal and a tremendous help with Worth a Shot, with where it's been going. And shout out to Jose, because every time I hear it on Octane, he seems to give us some cool shout out before the song plays. So
yeah, he's a really genuine guy too.
Yeah,
you know, like when he says all that stuff, you know, like he really means it, and yeah, he's a great guy. Dude, so I just moved back from Nashville.
Okay.
And I saw that Early Bird Gets the Whiskey. You guys shot that at D's Country Lounge.
Yeah.
Bro, you have no idea. That is like one of my spots, man. I love that place.
It's crazy because I didn't know how legendary the spot actually was until I had been there before. But like, I was just like, you know, it's just like going to the bar in Nashville.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right,
Everything seems cool to me.
Yeah, so it's like, it's known in Nashville as like one of the places like where the players play. Like, you know, like real players, like you go there and you can just hear like phenomenal musicians like night after night. That is kind of the crazy thing about Nashville, but you know, you get to see some legends pop up in there too. Like, you know, you'll see a YelaWolf in there every once in a while, and you know, it's just one of those places that has that cool just riz, and you know, it was fun to see that you filmed there.
I know Jelly filmed the video there as well.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until after we were already filming. I was like, oh well, you know, look at that. Look at the irony in that.
So you were down in Nashville for like the last week and a half. So what'd you get into?
It was just a bender. We didn't do nothing. We got a lot of work.
With Layne down there.
Yeah. Man, every time I'm in Nashville, it's our second home.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's very easy to fall in the fun stuff per se, you know. But we get our work done. We got a lot done. We shot the Worth the Shot music video while we were down there, which was pretty cool. We also finalized the recording process of the album.
Okay.
You know, now everything's getting sent off and ready for mix and mastering, so we can kind of get to that.
So where did you shoot Worth a Shot at?
We shot it at this like old paint factory warehouse.
Yeah. Struggle.
It's a pretty popular spot.
Actually, me and Layne James were in that video. I know exactly where you're talking about. That place is dope.
Did you feel congested leaving? Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
I think Jackie might still be sick from that.
I'm telling you, the paint is still very much alive in that former, you know, paint warehouse.
It's like fumes. I went in there, I was like, dang, I can't even sing without being like,
yeah, it was crazy. Like, so for Struggle's video, they built out like a whole prison.
Oh wow! Well, I guess that would make sense. That would be the perfect. That would be the perfect spot. Not only would it make sense for Struggle, but I'm saying that spot. You know, shout out to Struggle,
dude. Yeah, that place is so cool, and there's just so many places like that in Nashville where you're just like you drive by and you don't even know what's in there, and then turns out like there's just something so rad happening.
It was perfect.
Yeah,
I mean, it was perfect. Besides all the fumes, you know.
besides developing a slight case of cancer, you know, everything's fine.
Like, you know, asbestos.
Yeah, right. I think a lot of people obviously know you from the hip hop world, you know, especially here in Columbus, and you know, rightfully so. You got a laundry list of hits from the streets, and it's kind of wild to see you do this transition. Was this something that was always on your heart, the move to rock?
Yeah, I mean, to me, my first love was always rock and roll. That's how I was raised. That's how my mama raised me. You know, it was just like the rap thing came in my teenage years. I mean, hip hop was on top at that time. All my friends listened to rap music, and I was like, okay, I love rap music, but how could I make rap music like for someone like me? You know what I'm saying? So we started sampling the rock classics that I love. And just started rapping over them, and that's what kind of like put me on that little pedestal of the underground white rapper lane, because like no one was really sampling the rock songs; they were just rapping. Yeah, I think that's what kind of separated me at the time. So I already knew eventually it would happen. Yeah, I already knew eventually we'd end up going full blown rock and roll. I always had one foot in, one foot out. I was kind of just BSing, you know what I'm saying? But now we're full fledged. It's over now.
Is it harder being a white rapper or a rapper crossing into rock?
It's harder being a white rapper.
Yeah.
Yeah, tremendously. Because no matter what, see, like, if you want to just be a rapper in general, obviously your hopes and dreams and your aspirations is to be on the radio, is to be in the big leagues, stadiums, things like that. And it's way more difficult as a white rapper because it's like, oh, he's just a good white rapper.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? And there is that stigma, whether people want to act like it's not a thing or not. I can tell you firsthand, it's there's a ceiling.
Yeah.
There's only one that has broke that mold, and his name's Eminem. And I would be surprised if we ever saw another Eminem.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, and I'm just being real.
And you mean people that have stuck with just doing hip hop?
Yeah, I mean, but have gotten that level of respect as well. You could be a dope artist. I mean, you have your MGKs, your Jack Harlows, your Jelly Rolls. Mm-hmm. But when you look at the artists who cross over, that's usually when they hit that level that they've always been trying to get to. Yeah. And it's the sad truth. It's just the reality. But if you can, I always say this, if you could do multiple genres, that's the beauty of music. That's the goal. The goal is not to be in a box forever.
Yeah, it's almost like an MMA, like when you see like an elite grappler, you know, just go like Justin Gaethje. And then he goes in there and just straight bangs every single fight. Just will lay you out, you know what I mean? He's got just like that. He's got one takedown. In UFC history.
It's crazy. And he'll throw him, and he's a wrestler.
Yeah, yeah.
And he'll stand and bang. Yeah. It's crazy. It's just like that.
Yeah, you excited for the fights this weekend?
I man, listen, I'm a UFC guy, so like I'm always pumped. I like a lot of people like they're either UFC or boxing. Mm-hmm. I only watch boxing if it's like Gervonta or somebody I like.
Yeah.
I like the boxing stuff, but I just love the UFC because there's so many more elements to it.
Sure.
There's so many more ways to be entertained during the fight. You know what I'm saying? And it's never really one-sided. It's always like you never know.
Well, and the other thing, too, is the UFC and even other MMA organizations that have kind of copied their model. The UFC and Dana have done such a great job at the promotion angle.
Oh, man.
When you're leading into a fight, like you could have no idea who the two guys are on the undercard. And then they do a quick background bio kind of thing. And all of a sudden, you're invested, bro. You know, like
literally, he's like the Vince McMahon of MMA.
Yeah, sure.
Basically.
Yeah. Dana's a hell of a guy, and and even backstage, man, the UFC is such a great organization. My best friend Matt Brown, he fought.
He's
just retired.
Legend.
Yeah, we got to get him out to one of your shows. By the way,
we have to. He's a legend.
He's in Thailand right now, but he would bring me back, and like the UFC's people, man, like everybody's so on point. They make you feel so welcome, and it's just a well-oiled machine. They really are. But yeah, this weekend, Pereira and Onkalov is going to be one hell of a fight.
I watch every Pereira fight possible. Yeah. I'm rooting.
Dude, it's the fucking boogeyman, dude. I'm telling you.
You know, it is MMA, and you never know, and that's what keeps me excited. Yeah. But he is personally my favorite fighter. And then obviously Izzy is always going to be up there with me. And if we want to take it back,
with Izzy, that broke my heart, man.
It kills me, but that's the name of the sport.
Yeah, no,
absolutely. It comes with it. You know, you train and you win, and then every dog has his day. It doesn't mean that he's not goated and he's less of a legend. You know, he's still the man of my eyes. It just happens in that sport.
Yeah, I just want to let people know too. You can come out and hang out with me. I'm going to be at Vanity this Saturday for the fights. So come out at 10 o'clock and watch the fights with me. Get you in the VIP. We'll hang out a little bit and do our thing. Guess who was over there the other night at Vanity?
Who?
John Jones.
Oh, yeah.
He came through the...
I think you told me that last night.
Did I tell you that?
Which blew my mind.
Dude, they said he was having the best time, just fucking killing it at Vanity.
I usually don't even do strip clubs anymore, but I probably would have been there for that.
Yeah.
If I'd have known that, I'd have been there.
Yeah, come through. We have a good time on Saturday, man. It's a lot of fun for the fights. I know that you had a long struggle with drugs for a little while. Tell me a little bit about how you got out of that and like where you are now.
Yeah, I mean, at the height of my drug use, you know, I don't know, anybody who is recovering or has recovered or has fought with addiction, you know, you start to get that little voice in your head like, hey, man, I kind of don't like this anymore.
Yeah.
You know, but then it's following through with it is the hard part. You can tell, I told myself for, 2-3 years that I wanted to stop. My drug of choice was cocaine and every other drug in the book, but it was normally cocaine. I was like, yo, I want to stop. And I just didn't know how. I just wasn't following through with it. And then my girl got pregnant, and I was like, well, now's the time, if there ever was a time, to stop. And ever since then, 2020 is when I got clean from the hard stuff. And ever since then, man, I've just been kind of like knocking everything off. I'm just like
Good, yeah.
slowly like, it's it's been a great experience because it took a while, but I feel like I'm finally myself. I've been doing drugs since middle school and never got to see a clean version of me.
Yeah.
So I had to like learn how to really be myself. I felt like
that's powerful.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because when I stopped doing drugs, I felt like everything was gonna stop.
Yeah.
That was the scariest. I was scarier than having a kid. Mm-hmm. To be honest with you, I was more terrified of people are gonna love me, or they're gonna hate me, or they're gonna still listen to my music, you know. And I should have been more worried about bringing a kid into the world.
Right, but isn't that crazy how it can like wrap you up like that?
It does, man. It controls you, and people
you don't realize
it.
You
don't realize it until you're fully out of it. And listen,
because you think of like a crackhead, like out on the street, like begging, you know. But the reality is you're like, I just want to stop. All right, I'm gonna stop. And then Friday comes and like a couple beers and you're like, well, maybe just a little bit of nose candy. You know?
And even after I stopped, it still took a couple years. Like I'm just now getting to myself, like having to learn how to navigate without using drugs, you know, is a whole different ballgame, especially when you're using drugs for a decade straight. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't even know who I'm supposed to be, let alone who I am. You know what I'm saying?
I think it almost stunts you mentally, like in a place like where you, like what you're saying is like you don't even know who you have to find yourself on.
Yeah.
And it's a weird thing.
A lot of changes.
Yeah. So how many years out of this are you?
So 2020 is when I got clean.
Wow, during the pandemic or before?
Yeah, that's what I always feel guilty for this, but I'm kind of thankful for it at the same time. My son's birthday is my sober date. Oh, and I always, I felt guilty about it, but I'm like, I can never show up on his birthday high.
Yeah.
You feel me? That's just something that always hold me to it. So May 8th, 2020, that's my sober date. That's my son's birthday.
Good for you.
And we're, you know, he'll be 5 in May. I'll be 5 years clean.
That's awesome, man. So, 5 years, man. That's some good time.
It's wild to even say that.
I heard you tell a story one time about being in Los Angeles and you got stuck out there and you were on a blow up mattress and you had to keep blowing it up.
Yes, sir.
What's behind that?
So I was on tour and just due to some unforeseen circumstances, it wasn't my tour. I was on someone else's tour. But for whatever reason, tour got canceled, but we were very far away from home.
Just a little bit.
You know, and we're pocket change. Like, dude, we were scrounging up anything. Light was, I think, making $25 a day from that tour and basically taking care of me and him. I wasn't making nothing. You know, he was just like, that was just part of the deal. Like, yo, if I can bring Doobie, I'll take this cut.
Yeah.
And, you know, it shows his character as well.
But you mean DJ Highlight.
And we lived off that $25 the whole tour, but then when tour got canceled, there was no more $25. Didn't really have no money to get back. And a good friend of ours by the name of Mad Child, he's a well-respected Canadian rapper in the underground space. He was like, yo, we were in Vegas, I think, and he was like, yo, I'm in LA, but you guys can crash at the pad for, you know, just get on your feet. That ended up turning into like a 3-month thing, 2-month thing. We kind of overstayed our welcome. It was like 6 of us in his living room, you know, and he's like, hey, it's time to, you know, go figure it out. And so, you know, long story short, we got someone to put up some money for a place to stay, but we didn't have no furniture or anything, you know. So it was just a normal day, blowing up the air mattress in the middle of the night. And we had released a video a couple days, maybe like a week or 2 before this specific day. And I wasn't used to my stuff like going really crazy. You know, I wasn't the most popular artist at this time or whatever. It wasn't viral yet. But I just checked my phone like any normal day, blowing up the air mattress, you know. Zzz, I'm just like, wait a second. Hold on. Nope, turn this off. I think we're going viral, but I didn't know what viral was. So I called Light because he was out of town at the time. I'm like, yo, am I tripping or did this video just get like a bunch of views overnight? And he's like, no, it's real. And then later it became YouTube's Artist on the Rise. And then it just all started to set in. I was like, wow, everything happens for a reason.
That's dope. So who determines that? Is it Google? Do they call you and they're like, you're the artist on the rise? How does that work?
Nah, it was a YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the video was going so viral that they literally, me, Moneybagg Yo, and Kodak Black, they picked 3 people.
Oh, that's sick.
And we were all YouTube's artists on the rise at that time. And they just kind of base it off your virality or whatever the word is for it. And ever since then, we just kept dropping videos, and they kept climbing and climbing. We were very consistent at that time, especially on YouTube with just dropping content nonstop. Yeah. And I think YouTube caught on to that too. I mean, obviously, if it's going crazy, it's on their platform. They're gonna pick it up. But I still didn't expect any of that, like, whatsoever.
Yeah, that's wild.
It was definitely wild.
So I saw you last night at the Summit Music Hall. Is that what it's called? Yeah, and that was, I mean, you were killer last night. That was the second time that I've seen you. The first time was Struggle over at in the Short North. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's kind of wild to have seen how, just in that short amount of time, how much has happened. I mean, dude, we could be talking festivals by the end of the summer. I mean, like, what do you think about that?
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I mean, with all the success I've had in the underground rap space, even through all the viral days, I've never got booked for a festival. I've never had a booking agent.
Yeah.
I've never, like, I mean, I always say we should be way bigger than we are, but again, I was a drug addict. I wasn't paying attention to my business. I didn't really even care. I was like, hey, I'm gonna make a song.
Right.
That was all I cared about, was making music. But then, after I got clean, I started realizing, like, dang, I should have been paying a little more attention. I could have helped myself out a little bit, But yeah, never had any festivals. Like, we've done a couple weed festivals,
sure.
But nothing like,
like Sonic Temple is what I'm talking
like,
about,
that's
man.
what
like,
I'm on. Yeah,
on that second stage, seeing you just fucking kill it in front of all those people at home. I mean, we got to get you in touch with Danny Wimmer. I mean, he's such a great guy, and those guys are, they have their finger on the pulse. And I mean, you go to any of the other festivals, and it's kind of a joke compared to a Danny Wimmer show.
Well, hey, I'm ready. Hey, Danny, we're waiting on the call, brother. We're waiting on the call, man.
So going out now as a rock act, so to speak, is this going to be the first time that you travel with a band?
Not the first time I travel with a band, but the first time that we're not really using backing tracks. It's just everything is live, everything's raw, authentic, and obviously I'll be singing. So that's the cool part. I feel like a whole new artist.
That's awesome.
Like, I feel like there's no history whatsoever with Doobie right now.
That's cool, man.
It's
fun, like, to spread your wings and, like, to have, almost like that moment of, like, coming out of your cocoon,
Yeah, it's like a clean slate.
Yeah.
It's like, who I was is not who I am.
So tell me who you hired. Like, who's the traveling band?
So right now, we got 2 sick guitar players, man. One, his name is Johnsa. The other one's Tony Earnhardt. And then got a phenomenal drummer by the name of Devin Addard. And then, of course, we got Highlight on the ones and twos. We can't get rid of the scratching.
Original, yeah.
We even kind of pulled him out of his box because, I mean, he knew how to scratch and do all that, but he never, we never really had to during our shows because he's so good behind the mic. He kind of just... That's his thing as well, but we got him on this rock stuff, scratching, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, so are the guys from Columbus, or where'd you get these guys from?
Everyone's from, me, Light, John from Columbus. Tony's from like an hour and a half out of Columbus, and then Devin is from Detroit, Michigan, but he's based in Nashville.
Oh, nice.
So
yeah. So when you were down in Nashville, did you do any recording with anyone?
Yeah, so we finished all, like, the final recording for the album. Andrew Bayless is producing the whole album.
Oh, sick! Yeah,
and he's crushing it right now. He's like one of the best producers, definitely one of the most respected producers, especially in Nashville. He's from Ocean City, Maryland, but he's a Nashville-based producer. Yeah.
I did some radio in Ocean City, Maryland for a hot minute.
Oh,
boy, that's a fucking crazy place. Have you been?
I haven't personally been, but
dude, you've been to Secrets? Dude, how crazy is Secrets, right? It's so... It is.
He did. He said it was like the Lost. That's one of my favorite.
Well, their
movies.
dance floor, like, literally, like, whatever music is playing, the actual floor moves to the beat of the song or to the rhythm of the song.
Like, so purposely? Or
yeah,
like
so like when you're dancing, the
weird?
shit's like moving slightly. And,
That's kind of scary.
It's kind of wild. They have a radio station at the club. They have like 3 different stages.
That's kind of cool. I got to go to Maryland.
Go out in the Bay. It's kind of, so I lived on the Delaware side, and the craziest part about living there was like as soon as Memorial Day would hit, you would go from just like maybe like 100,000, maybe 200,000 people at the most to like over 1 million instantly. Because everybody from D.C., Philly, Baltimore, over 1 million. I mean, it would
like
be
on
nuts.
The street?
Like, yeah, driving. So like these little 2-lane highways, all of a sudden you can't get anywhere.
There.
I mean, it's wild, bro. Like, yeah, because there's so many different little pockets of that area, but there's a lot of good music, like Dewey Beach. It goes off. I mean, there's a lot of places to play up there.
That's why I would love to play there. Yeah. I don't know about being a pedestrian walking around though. I don't do well in big crowds. My anxiety won't allow it. It's like, hey, dude.
Yeah. The Delaware side's a little more chill, like Rehoboth Beach, and but Ocean City goes hard for sure.
I go to Broadway and get overwhelmed.
Broadway's crazy. So when I was in Nashville, dude, I was a 5-minute walk from Broadway.
Oh. How'd you do it? How'd you do it? Are you okay?
Yeah, at times it was a little much, but no, it was just funny. Like when my kids would be down there with me, you just kind of make like different things to do. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to all be revolve around Broadway and the typical stuff that people do down there. There's like a sick candy store. My kids would love to go there and just but just walking up the street and seeing the lights, it's just fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we lived here, we lived in Muirfield, and like so living in complete like the suburbs and to going downtown urban living was kind of fun.
It's night and day.
It is. Yeah.
And Nashville is just one of them places where the party is always going.
Yeah. So did you get to go to Good Night Nashville, Jelly's new place?
Yeah. I mean,
how is it?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
But every floor it's like they took everyone off Broadway and put them in this building.
It's crazy, right?
It's nuts. I'm happy for Jelly though. He deserves all that, man. It's just awesome to see, and it's inspiring. You know,
it's a long way from the Alrosa Villa. I'll tell you that. Man.
Oh man, it's a long way from a bunch of them venues that we used to do back in the day. I mean, Light was with him for damn near 15 years, and I watched them two do shows for next to nobody to. Now Bridgestone Arena. And
crazy, right?
He's got his own bar that's 4 stories. It's like.
Well, the craziest thing about that is like when you say that, like everybody from Broadway's in there, but then you go next door to Kid Rock's joint.
It's the same thing.
And it's the same thing. It's like, on a Friday night, there's like 4 or 5 floors open. Every fucking floor is filled with like just so many people. There's a different band.
Yeah.
And I mean, as a musician, I mean, that's kind of got to inspire you a little bit because I mean, like those people down there, a lot of folks don't know their names, but I mean, those are some of the best players in the world.
Oh, you can go into it's crazy. Even if you don't necessarily like go into a Broadway spot, just all them bars in Nashville, period.
Yeah.
You're going to see an amazing act. And like you said, you don't even know their name, nothing, but you're going to sit there and be like, dang.
Yep.
These mother effers got it going on. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. Yeah. I used to have bands that I would like, and just in the evening, I'd say, "Oh, so and so's playing at Roberts at 5." Okay, cool. So I'd go down for like an hour, have a fried bologna sandwich and go home. You know what I mean? Like it was just kind of like part of the, I just started to incorporate that sort of aspect of Nashville, just getting to see as much amazing live music because there's nothing like seeing artists that are laying it all on the stage each and every time,
Yeah. Well, and especially in Nashville, that's how some of them great artists are discovered. You know, like if I'm not mistaken, like Luke Combs was performing at them bars, and he's now just crushing it completely. Artists like that. You never know who's that hidden gem that's sitting in that them bars, that's doing them like we were talking last night, them 6-hour sets, requests a night, trying to get tips, to make a living, and then 4 or 5 years later, they're the biggest artists on the planet.
It only takes that one shot.
That's the beauty of Nashville. That's the beauty of Nashville.
And it's so funny because Los Angeles used to be that.
Yeah.
And now LA, I mean, like the scene, especially after the fires now, I mean, the scene is just not what it was. And, Nashville is completely, that's, if you're an artist, it doesn't matter really what genre. I mean, you
it's
you
Music
definitely
City.
can find your fans.
It's Music City.
Yeah, no
I
doubt.
love it.
Yeah, for sure. So when you started here, like do you remember like the first venue you played at?
Yeah, I think it was a Jelly show. Was it Evolution? Evolution out west. That was the
Okay.
first time I ever performed that wasn't a school talent show.
Okay.
So I opened up for Jelly. I was not nearly who I am now, for sure. I mean, couldn't catch a beat to save my life. You know what I'm saying? Young kid, I was probably like 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first show. My first headlining show, I want to say it was Alrosa Villa. If it wasn't Alrosa Villa, I may have headlined Scully's, but I'm pretty sure it was Alrosa.
Yeah, Scully's is a good place, man. You know,
It's just one of them legendary spots.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
You got to go through Scully's at least once.
and that is what's disappointing about Alrosa Villa being gone.
Oh, man, it breaks my heart every time.
Yeah,
That was, I mean, I wrote a letter to Dime Bag in the bathroom, you know, like
man, that's cool.
that. I remember being a kid and watching the news of Dime getting murdered at Alrosa, and then many years later, me headlining my first show at Alrosa, and then seeing all the letters written to him in the bathroom, in the green room.
Yeah.
It was so real to me. My mom used to take me to Alrosa to
that's
see,
cool, man.
rock shows.
Yeah.
I've seen Seven Dust when I was a kid at Alrosa. And
It's like the coolest moose lodge ever. Like when you walk,
I was like more or less upset that I was broke at the time and couldn't just buy it. You know what I'm saying? Like I would have bought that.
Dude, they sold the walls. Like if you go on Facebook Marketplace, like
Did they?
people, they sell.
What
parts
about the rock that was in front? What'd they
I
do
don't
with
know.
that rock?
See, I know they're building apartments there, but I thought it would be dope if they built a statue of Dime there.
I mean, at least leave the rock.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
yeah.
the big rock that was in the front that was
Yeah.
like autographed. That was like every time you turn in, you see that rock.
Yeah.
I always wanted to know, like, okay, they tore down the building, but where's that rock?
Exactly. That is a good question. If anybody knows where the rock is,
where's the rock?
leave it in the comments below. You know who was there on that terrible night that Dime got killed? Matt Brown.
Oh my goodness!
Isn't that wild? Yeah, to hear him tell the story too. He tells it in the most Matt Brown way ever. He's like, I ducked like everybody else, but he's like, I was thinking, should I duck or should I get up and fuck this dude up right now?
Yeah.
I was like, man, the story could have been a lot different. But I mean, it's so scary when you're in that situation. I can't imagine.
Well, it's so unexpected.
Exactly,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, everyone's like, oh, I don't know what to do if this situation happens, and then it happens, and you're like, whoa, you're completely caught off guard. And the crazy thing about that is too, one of my childhood friends, his older brother, we used to look up to him. He used to play guitar and just be like the cool dude. We're youngins. He's in high school. So we used to look up to him. His favorite guitar player was Dime, and he was actually at the show as well.
Yeah.
He watched his favorite guitar player, get murdered, and he actually got the ticket and everything tatted on him.
Oh, is that right? Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's
which
a good
is
idea.
always blew my mind,
Yeah.
But it's just wild, man.
Yeah,
that whole
a lot
situation.
of the people I worked with at the Blitz, they were there that night, and like it's kind of crazy to hear it because everybody kind of tells a similar story. They say like you didn't really know what was happening at first
Yeah.
because it was Damage Plan. The
You
music
could
was
think
so
it was
loud
a
anyway.
skit.
Yeah, or something.
Anything.
Because Matt goes, I thought the first shot was the drum,
Yeah.
and like because you don't, like you said, it's totally unexpected. You're not,
And it's a show. So
Right.
literally, I mean, if you've ever seen a Mushroom Head show or a Guar show,
Yeah,
you don't know what's real or fake.
yeah,
know?
totally. Where do you go from here? Like, are you out on the road right now?
No, so we've got a couple. What we do every year, we do what's called a Bat Out of Hell weekend,
Hell yeah.
and it's basically like a weekend of shows and places that we normally wouldn't do on our big tours.
Okay.
Just to kind of show love to them other cities who don't, we don't normally get to see as much, and that's in April.
So, like, where do you go? Like, where are some of those little cities that you would go to?
So right now we have Dayton, Toledo, what is it, Grand Rapids? Or
Battle Creek.
Battle
Okay,
Creek,
okay.
Battle Creek, and Fort Wayne.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So usually not the main cities, in the states.
Does anybody play out in Yellow Springs? Is there anything happening out there?
I would love to,
because it's dope.
I
man,
mean, let's go to Dave Chappelle's house,
dude,
and just perform in his backyard. Dave, we're here.
Dude, I went to some of those shows over COVID when he was doing the.
Did you?
Yeah, in the
I
field.
bet it was cool as hell.
Well, the coolest thing was that was like literally in the whole country. That was the only thing that was happening. People were coming from all over, and that was kind of the controversy out in Yellow Springs. People were like, "Oh, we don't want people from all over the country." But
they tried to shut it down.
They tried to shut it down.
Neighbors, and he was like, "No."
Yep.
He got in cool with the
city council.
Yeah,
and
the
all
city
that. Yeah,
council.
yeah,
they
yeah.
had meetings, and he was like, "No, we're doing this."
Yeah, for sure. And it was cool because like going out there, I went 3 times. And on the way out there, I would hear from like different people I knew, like one of my friends who's in the beverage industry. He would be like, "Oh, I've heard so and so is going to be there," and sometimes they'd be right, and sometimes they would be wrong.
Yeah.
But it was just cool because, like, you know, Dave would come out, sort of host the show, right?
Yep.
And then he'd be like, "All right, cool, man, y'all hang out and welcome Jon Stewart." You're like, "Holy shit!"
Holy shit.
Like David Letterman one night. I mean, it was just like,
That's cool.
Whoa, dude! You know, Donnell Rollins, like, you know, just so many old, just amazing comics that I say old, that, you know, I mean that like in complimentary way.
No,
but,
I mean,
you know, just
been excited.
names that you hadn't heard in a minute, and you're just like, dude, this is so awesome.
The fact he could pull that off in such a crisis time.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
like, I mean, Dave Chappelle, you're the GOAT. I'm sorry. Like,
He
you
really
are
is.
the man.
He
Like,
really is, and like everything he does is so cool. Like it has that just Chappelle factor to it, where it's just like, God damn, that's punk rock.
The crazy thing about Dave Chappelle too is we went to, so he came to Columbus, and we thought it had said Hulu special or something.
Yeah,
and we
Netflix,
thought,
yes.
Netflix,
I
and I was
at that show,
like,
yes.
I was like, oh, so maybe they're just going to be recording it live. You know, I'm
Yes.
thinking to stand up. No, we ended up watching this movie about that.
Yes. As far as I know, that's the only place it's ever played.
And I haven't seen it since.
No, I don't think it's been released.
I will say this though, he brought out Erykah Badu, and that was still the best show I ever seen in my life.
And so when he brought her out,
It was
Erykah Badu
amazing.
and Bone Thugs.
Yeah, they came out later,
Yeah.
and Dave was already slammed,
So drunk.
plastered.
Yeah.
by then.
He
It was so
drunk.
good.
Yeah, but when they both came out, I thought they were just going to, you know, roll through the hits, maybe play like 3 songs and be like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Because I know that Chappelle paid a fortune. Because if you remember that night at the Shot, like it was open like so late.
Yeah.
And so he had to pay for like every
All the overtime.
every minute
thing.
after 11 o'clock. And he's like, fuck it, I'm rich.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I got it.
But it was like one of those experiences where, you know, you just get like not your money's worth, but so much more. It's almost hard to put into words. Like it's such an experience.
I was
you
in
know?
awe. I went into that just thinking I was going to see a Dave Chappelle stand up, which would have been perfectly fine with me, you know.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
then again, Erykah Badu, she fucking crushed it. It
Yeah.
was,
And when was the last time you saw Bone Thugs and Harmony and Erykah
yeah,
Badu?
like,
I mean, like
I
ever,
have
you know?
seen Bone Thugs before, but it was just so unexpected, and I was like, dang. Then he brings Bone Thugs out, and I'm like, okay, this can't get any better. You know, this is sick.
Yeah.
This is cool.
And it was
you
cool,
know.
man. Jeff Ross was there. There's so many great comedians too, and yeah, and that's one of the things that I love about Chappelle, because he always gives back to Ohio.
I love it.
Yeah, it seems
We
like when
need
it's
it.
here, yeah, and I mean it's fun, you know, like, and it just makes you feel, you know, as a resident, you're like, all right, man, appreciate
That's
you.
that. Oh wait,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
I love that. Yeah, man. Down in Nashville, did you do anything with YelaWolf?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Wolf has been a good friend of mine. Definitely a big help in my career as well. He kind of, you know, he's done a lot for me that he didn't have to do any of it. You know, like for example, the Early Bird Gets the Whiskey music video. He was there all day.
Yeah.
Just sitting there, like, and you know, we did that take a couple times. We both wanted to get it right, and he was with it. He was super down, and then not only that, he's just been kind of helping plant the seeds in certain places as well, like trying to connect me here and there. He's just always been a big supporter and always has, you know, kind of stuck his neck out in a way. And as a brother, man, I've got nothing but love and admiration for him. You know,
sick.
he has helped tremendously, especially being where he is.
Yeah.
You know, it means the world to me. We got a record on the album coming as well.
Oh, is that, yeah?
Yeah,
All right.
and it's super fun.
That's cool, man.
It's fun.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know, between Tulane James down there, you know, being like a new culinary specialist. I mean,
Chef.
Did he?
Yes, chef.
That's their thing. Yes, chef. Yeah. Did you get any Tulane food while you were down
You
there?
know what's crazy? I always tell Wolf and Tulane, I'm like, dude, you guys are always cooking the most extravagant stuff, but it's like, it'll be like squirrel tail. And I'm like, can we just do this, but like make it chicken? You know, like something that I'd actually eat.
Right.
But it always looks so good. And I'm like, man, I got to go to Wolf's house. Because you know he's starting the cooking show.
Yeah. I saw that online. Yeah.
I'm going to have to hit him like, hey, let me be on there, but let's just do some chicken wings.
But see, that's what I'm saying. He's always kind of like just ahead of the curve, yes, but like
Yeah.
ahead of the curve with a twist. You know, like you know, artists are branching out doing their own podcasts, but you know, I could see him thinking, and like, you know, it's like that's not enough. You know, we got to do something that's a little bit more dialed in, and that's
he's
such
so visual,
a great touch.
And he's a pioneer in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
fashion, style. Like Wolf is one of the most stylish individuals I've ever met.
Like the coolest. I'm like,
you're just
stop
cool.
dressing so goddamn cool, bro.
Save some girls for everybody else. You know, like no, he is just a cool dude. But then also like he's always a step ahead. He's always in his own lane. That's something I've always respected about him. You know, like him doing a cooking show. He doesn't need to do anything else. Yeah. I mean, he's accomplished so much, you know, but again, he's always just one step ahead, whether it's production, songwriting, you know, the country rap thing, to the pop thing, to the rock thing, he's doing it all. And I love it. I admire it about him.
Yeah, and it's almost like to the same degree, MGK, you know, doing that Country Road with Jelly was, I mean, if you would have wrote that down on paper, I'm like, that ain't gonna work.
That's never gonna happen.
Yeah, that ain't gonna work. People aren't gonna buy that.
I think everyone was. I was like, wait,
it's almost fun to kind of hate and then see somebody just come out and just kick your doors in.
Yeah, we're doing it anyway.
Yeah, we're doing it anyways, and fuck you. It's a hit.
And then a classic spinoff at that.
Yes,
you know, it's like, oh,
well,
okay.
The hook. You come out with a hook like that, and everybody already knows it. I mean, it's hard to not be successful.
Gold.
Right?
Yeah, it's golden. You know, but. And it's funny because when I first heard like they were doing it, I was like, I don't know, guys. That was my first reaction. I was like, MGK and Jelly doing a country song. I'm like, is it going to be like country, or is it going to be like a little rock country? Well, what are we talking? And then they sample one of the most country songs, and I'm like, oh no, they're going so country.
Yeah, and the video was perfect. I mean, just like everything was just it was. The touch was definitely there. Any other guests on the album that we should know about?
We got one more, but it's a secret.
Is it a secret, huh?
We got two more that are very big secrets.
All right.
One is going to blow your guys' mind. We're going to take you back to an era of music that to me was just one of the best eras.
Ooh, can we know the era or no?
Nu metal era.
Oh, yeah.
Era.
Okay. All right. All right.
Nu metal, you know, early 2000s.
Nice.
And then the other feature is just someone who's just been crushing it in the rock and metal world for the last, 10 years. Phenomenal artist. I'm excited.
All right. You almost said it.
I almost said it. I'm like, let me zip it. He's like, come on.
Yeah, I'm over here just trying to draw it out, man. Just trying to draw it out. Yeah. So what is the street date for the record, though?
We don't have one yet. I know we're going to have everything finalized and turned in by the end of this month.
Yeah.
So that'll kind of give you an idea. Hopefully within the next 2-3 months at the most.
Yeah.
We still have to have time to promote it and things like that. So yeah, we're looking few months.
Awesome.
But I'm excited. It's going to be worth it.
So if you could just close your eyes and pick any artist to collab with over the years, who would it be?
Any artist?
Yeah, any artist. Like you have your pick. Any genre.
Oh, why do you do this? Dead or alive?
Let's go alive. Something that could like really happen.
Really happen? I mean, it could be this could be obvious, but I mean, Jelly. Like, I think it wouldn't even be right for me to say anyone else. I think Jelly's the one that needs to happen. After all this history and all these years, and I came up under Jelly, now he's had all this success. Now I'm finally breaking, the door down in my own way. It's just, I think that's the most necessary. Like off the top of my head, that's probably it.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about dead, I'm always gonna say Layne Staley. So
you're a big Alice in Chains fan.
Oh, I'm die hard.
Yeah, dude, I love Alice in Chains too. Jerry Cantrell was here last week.
Oh, Jerry Cantrell. I did not know he was here, but he's up there on the list. He's on the list.
I think he might have been out of town, but yeah, he was at the Bluestone, and I missed it too. My kid had something going on, and but a bunch of my friends went, and I saw some videos, and I mean, you talk about a guy who's just fucking so good. I saw him perform solo for the first time. God, man, this is going back. It's like early 2000s or late 90s. He opened for Metallica. And
sounds like Sonic Temple right now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was Metallica, Godsmack, and Jerry Cantrell, and where I'm from in West Palm Beach, and like at the amphitheater. And it was just like one of those shows. It was fucking amazing.
It's so crazy, man. And I want to say this right now while we're on here. Like, Layne's my favorite singer in the whole world, but Jerry I don't feel like he gets enough credit in the mainstream light for what he really has done for Alice in Chains. People who know. Yeah. But most people, he wrote all those songs. Mm-hmm. He's singing on those records as well. Yeah. Jerry was the heartbeat behind Alice in Chains. I mean, Layne he had that voice. Right. And him passing, it's kind of like the Kurt Cobain thing, Yeah. You focus more on that, because they're no longer with us, and we tend to forget too about the other people who have contributed to making it what it was. And Jerry, you're a legend. You will always be one of my favorite guitar players, songwriters, very respected in my eyes.
And even the new singer in Alice in Chains is fucking amazing,
bro. Goodness.
Like, his name escapes me right now, but I mean, that guy, shout out. I mean, like,
phenomenal. And shout out.
How do you sound just like Layne Staley, bro? Like,
it's like he was in his room his whole life and was like, I'm gonna make up, like for this.
And not that the racial thing matters whatsoever, but it was just, it's wild. Like, you close your eyes and you're like, oh, and it's an African American dude. You're like, whoa. Yeah.
It's crazy too, because like, it's like, black folks aren't as like popular, like not popular, but there's not as many in rock and metal, anymore. And it came from, I mean, I don't care what nobody says, rock music came from black people.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's no argument there. And I'm not hearing it. That's just that is the truth. Yeah. And so
Elvis put the 5-finger discount on rock and roll for sure. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, no, he did. He was like, hey, give me that.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's just the truth. And so, and just in today's rock and metal, you don't see as many African Americans. And it blows my mind because you got your artists like Howard Jones, who's, well, to me, one of the best singers I've ever heard in my life. Yeah. Shout out to, his Kill Switch Engage years, but now he's it's slipping my mind. I forget the band he's with right now, but I love it. I love the diversity of rock and roll, and I love to see it because the music, the sport of the music needs it. Yeah, it needs it, man. We need that soul, man. Totally, we need that soul.
Have you seen Slaughter to Prevail yet?
Oh, Alex Terrible is
he just had his first MMA fight too.
And he won.
He smoked that guy, dude. He fucked that guy.
Why would y'all put him up against that guy while we're on this topic? Y'all knew what you were doing, man.
That's Russia, man. Not exactly the most legit sports commission over there, but I mean, it was.
He wrestles bears. It was
fucking incredible. So the last time I saw them, he Slaughtered to Prevail. They were the opening band for Manson and Five Finger Death Punch. I saw them in Nashville and at Bridgestone, and it was fucking so good.
I bet. Yeah. And Manson just dropped some new music recently as well.
Dude, he was better than I've ever seen him. So I used to see Marilyn Manson when I was a teenager at this place called, shout out to all my South Florida people, at the Button South down on Hollandale Beach. And he was Marilyn Manson and the Spooky Kids, like back to the days, like when he was cut his chest on stage. Yeah, I mean, it was wild, bro. Like, there's only one other guy that everybody talked about was Gigi Allin.
Gigi Allin, listen, you don't know rock and metal or punk, anything to do with this genre of music, if you don't know who Gigi Allin is.
It's crazy. So the people that don't, the rumor was he was going to kill himself on stage.
Yeah,
and so you never knew if you were going to be at the show where he just did.
Well, you didn't believe it too because I mean, he peed on himself, he shit on himself,
he shit on the stage, literally,
and was throwing it at the crowd. I mean, if there was anyone that was believable, it was him.
Make Guar look like a Disney movie. I mean,
man, they're minuscule compared to Gigi Allin. I'm sorry,
bookers
Guar.
wouldn't book him after a while. They were like,
well, I mean, throwing poop all over their venue, I'm sure I wouldn't book you neither. But you're still a legend,
Get a case of the pink eye, man.
Rest in peace,
So when Doobie's on the down low, and you're just like maybe having a day, and you just want to veg out and just kind of just be away from the world, what's that one movie that you put on?
I'm not really a movie guy. I'll play video games, and I'm like a true crime documentary nerd.
Oh, is that right?
I'm like into serial killers, like real ones though, not like Freddy Krueger.
So like the Jeff Dahmer story on
yeah,
Netflix
like you
was
know,
good?
like your Ed Gaines, all that stuff. Like your Ed Gaines, all that stuff. I'm just into that type of. I probably shouldn't even be admitting this. Actually, sitting here talking to like, oh, that's what you like. I think it's intriguing. It's crazy to me, like people's brains and how they think. You know what I'm saying? I'm a true crime nerd. Like I love it. Me and my girl watch it. Call of Duty.
Oh, okay.
That's it. I might occasionally throw on Madden or NCAA since they just brought it back, but I get bored with it. I'm a Call of Duty nerd.
Yeah, when my oldest son's he's gonna be 22, and like when he was in high school, like he'd be like, "Dad, do not play online under my name," because like they'd always hit me with the "you're going the wrong way," and like I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I'm like, I'm trying, man. I'm just getting heckled by kids. I'm like, listen, bro, I know your dad. I'll come over there. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
hey, the kids on Call of Duty, they get under your skin.
Man,
You're like, hold on, who are you talking to like this?
yeah, like your voice hasn't even dropped yet.
Yeah, they're like, hey, mother effer, you suck. You be like, dang, what I do?
It was rough. Yeah, so like Fortnite was a little bit easier for me, you know? Like, yeah.
And see, I suck at Fortnite. I'm god.
Oh, is that right?
I'm god awful.
Okay,
You don't want me on your team. I don't even know if you could do teams. I tried to do it. You had to build. I was like, this is too much. This is overstimulating.
Yeah, it's almost like Minecraft meets Call of Duty, sort of.
That would be the perfect analogy.
Yeah.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah, my son, he gave me a couple of cool things that I ended up liking a lot, like, as far as taste go and stuff, like Fortnite and XXXTENTACION.
Oh,
and so
shout out to X. Rest in peace, man.
Man, like when he died, it was weird because my son and I really shared that, and we loved the music, and he was from South Florida, where I'm from, and like, so there was a lot of connections for me. But I have felt this way ever since that kid got murdered. There was so much left on the table. Like, the crossover to rock was right in his fingertips, and I mean, I can't even imagine. I'm kind of curious to what you think of that. What do you think he was on the cusp of?
I'm a product of the SoundCloud era.
Yeah.
I am a product of the XXX era, the Juice WRLDs, your Lil Pumps, your Lil Peeps. I'm from the same era. And I obviously he had so much more to offer. Mm-hmm. The tragic, the tragedy around his death, but also just people hate so much. And that shows you, it's the same with Dime Bag, right?
Yeah.
It shows you like how quick it could get, taken from you. So you have to cherish, these people while they're here. And I think X was so ahead of his time, and we don't get them icons every day.
No, you're right.
He's reached now, especially to a certain generation, he's reached that Kurt Cobain status, that Tupac and Biggie status. He was the icon of that generation. I mean, who else?
Yeah, no.
And then
no
Juice right after him. It's just sad, but it's the tragic truth. You know?
Like Juice was good. Boat was good. All those guys were good, but it was like he was like elite. He
was
I mean?
elite. He was, and also he wasn't afraid to be himself, especially in a world that was very like hip hop at that time. Especially all them SoundCloud dudes. It was like mumble rap and all this, and he was like, "No, I'm gonna say something."
Yeah,
I got something to talk about, and he was so intellectual, so deep on a different kind of level that you weren't getting from all them younger, especially at his age.
Yeah.
I have nothing but love and respect for X, and it's a tragedy because he was so ahead of his time. Who knows what he'd be doing right now?
Yeah, I mean, definitely he would have crossed over.
He would have
made a full metal album or something.
He'd mess around and be with Alex Terrible on tour. You never know.
Man, that would have been dope. That would have been cool to see.
And he could have did it.
Yeah,
he could have did it
for sure. Let's go back to your Columbus roots for a second. So, like, what area did you grow up in the city?
Like Blacklick.
Oh, okay.
Pataskala. I got kicked out of school though and started I had to move and go to this credit recovery school. I forget what the name. Oh, it was called it was like out by Eastland Mall. It was called like Focus or something like that.
Gotcha.
I didn't graduate. So,
we were talking last night. I was telling you that the dopest reality show would be you going back to high school.
Oh my God,
like,
Tommy
I'm telling
Lee.
You, like Tommy Lee went to college. That'd be like Doobie goes to high school.
I don't know. I think I'd get kicked out again. They're like, yeah, this isn't your gig, man.
If you got kicked out again, man, then we'd guarantee season 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're like, all right, we got to try this again until you get it right.
Man, so before we get out of here, like if people want to find you on YouTube, give us your YouTube and Instagram and all the goods so people can get at you.
So, I mean, it's just Doobie everywhere, Doobie, except Twitter because somebody stole my name, which I'm going to get you. I'm going to get
you. Got to get Elon on that to get it back.
I'm going to get you. Yeah, Elon, hey. Or TikTok, sorry. On TikTok, it's Doobie and 8, just the number 8. Okay. That's my lucky number. So.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool, man.
Yes, sir.
And, dude, I can't tell you enough. I really appreciate you coming out today.
I appreciate you, man. I was 10 minutes tardy. Please don't hate me. I'm so sorry.
No, man.
I'm usually very punctual, Yeah. But we had a banger last night. It was
dude, that was fun, man. I really appreciate you having me out, and I can't wait for the next one.
Hey, man. Anytime, man. And I'd love to come back,
Well, you're always welcome. Doors open, man.
Appreciate you, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, Doobie, and thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe, and, that little bell, click that, and you'll get an alert every time I drop a new episode. And I really appreciate you guys. We're out.